Yeah, no, I know he's had a bit rough go of it, for sure. I don't see us live yet. Yeah. Did we pop? Oh, there we are. Indeed. All right. Properly muted. Did we pop? No, apparently not properly muted. Now I am. Okay. All right. Brick or no brick? That is the question. Okay. All right, I'm going to start us up. And here we go. I'll even count down like Robin did. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. COVID.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all are listening to the Overseas Connection podcast.
Shut up and sit down.
Here we go!
Would you kindly?
I think we're just getting started.
Medic! I'm a witcher.
I think this is more than you can handle.
He sits on his ass all day.
Let's do this.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to episode 670 of your Overseas Connection podcast. Today is February 13th, the day before Doomsday. That is Valentine's Day, for the record. Doomsday, I say Doomsday because it is such a pressure holiday, but we'll get into that in just a minute. Hey, if you are tuning in to the first time, more importantly, we are on every Sunday, 1 p.m. on the West Coast, which is the best coast, 3 p.m. in the old Central Time Zone, which we also have dubbed the freezer, and then 9 p.m. in the UK. We're on YouTube. We are on Twitch TV. We also put forward an audio version, so if you happen to catch this on rerun and you want to listen to it, maybe while you're jogging or killing cows, feel free, download the podcast on your favorite audio source, and we will be happy to fill your ears. On the show today, we are, by the way, COVID-free here. We are practicing all safe protocols. Everybody is pre-tested. No masking required for the show. We have Mr. Phil Olson. I am doing so much better than Robin right now. Yeah. I'm just going for it. I am. I'm just going to take the piss out of him because I love him. But yes, I'm doing fantastic. Phil, I am so happy for you to be on the show today. And yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Also on the podcast today, we have One Drink Kim Woods. It might, Kim. It might. Well, technically, I think you're all cool because it has been exceptionally cold out your way. Yeah. Do I want to tell you it's 70 degrees right now? That's not good. Well, let's change that. See if they can hear you now, maybe.
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Or try
Testing
now.
3,
Or
4,
try now.
5, 6.
7, 8, 9.
I think you should be solved now. The gremlins are at play. But yes, hopefully they can hear everything now. It is the DeLacy show. I freely admit to it. I tell you. Yeah. Let's not get into that. All right. That's all that really matters. Okay, so Robin not on the show today. Real quickly, we're just going to give him some love. He is under the weather. COVID has struck him again. I'm sorry. I feel bad. Obviously, he's in a little bit rougher state than he was last time he had it. I think last time he probably had the Omicron variant. This time he has gotten the new double triple X variant. But we do hope he recovers quickly. He lost his voice, which I think in that respect that's actually a positive. But we want him to feel better. But anytime we don't have to hear him. Oh, it's always something, right? Let's see if this might solve it. Maybe I'm not echoing now. Yeah. I know. I need you to say something, Kim. Do you feel bad for Robin?
Anything, or smell it or whatever. So apparently it's worse now this time than last time. So,
yeah, he's put a video out and he sounds very rough, a lot rougher than he did last time. So he's still fiddling around there.
He's always fiddling, I swear.
I've been doing a lot of fiddling on the back end here, so I am hoping now you are audible, and of course I am audible.
I am audible. Good, so
that's what we need to hear.
They're listening to a different show.
Obviously, I mean what?
Real quickly, Phil. So last week I attempted to play a birthday song for you, and that did not apparently go well. So I'm going to try and do it now. So hopefully you can hear this. Happy birthday jingle, because we wanted to celebrate the life that is Phil Olsen.
Of course.
It's your birthday, yes, it's your birthday, it's your birthday, yes, it's your birthday, it's your birthday, yes, it's your birthday. We are fucking psyched. You want never before. You want never before. You want never before. We are fucking psyched. It wasn't so long ago. Your mom was in the hospital. What was she doing there? She was screaming. It's your birthday, yes, it's your birthday, it's your birthday, yes, it's your birthday, it's your birthday, yes, it's your birthday. We are fucking psyched. We are fucking psyched.
All right, enough of that. So I don't know if we're getting the echo now again or not. That's the question at hand. Well, I know it was. Yeah, I know for sure it was back. In one sense, because I realized what I had done. So I'm hoping it's not echoing. But I don't know for sure.
Is excellent.
Thank you.
And that's meant a lot to me. Thank you. I'm tearing up. Feels like family.
So all I know is I think you guys are good. I'm going to attempt to kill one thing, and hopefully that does the trick.
Boomer says yes, the echo is back.
I know the echo is back, but hopefully now that they're hearing this, it's not echoing. It is just my sound. That's the hope. But I do need you guys to keep talking.
Okay, we can do that.
We'll figure it out.
Sure. I mean, we have to. Although I do feel like Robin has cursed the show, and that's why we have an echo. It's all Robin's fault.
Yeah.
So, because
The reality is it's my fault. I fully take that blame. It's because I picked on Robin. I started making fun of him.
Karma.
Thus, Karma's a bitch.
Karma is a bitch. Yep, indeed.
All right.
Oh, hey.
Sounds good now.
Yep.
I think I
Sounds
figured
good.
it out. I'm not touching anything. Hands off the knobs, Kim.
Hey,
That's what Kim
your
said.
fault, not mine. So, never mind. I won't even finish that.
All right.
Oh, dear.
Anyway.
Hey, we got through it. You heard your birthday song. Kim was fantastic on the guitar. We were fucking psyched that you had a birthday.
You were.
So, I mean,
I was also pleased that you said I was 42.
Hey,
Thank you.
I am one to give out compliments. Let me tell you.
The check is not in the post.
Yeah,
So no, I'm now a year.
Do not send me a can of beans, please.
Because in turn, they'll turn around and send me a can of beans, and we'll,
We need to work out what's next. We do need to work out what's next.
Yeah.
It tastes better than Heinz beans.
Maybe the listener can suggest what the next culture wars should be.
I think we played out the baked beans as much as possible. Of course, I say that, but I already know, like Luis Ramundo, he already is jumping into the bean war. So I feel like this could take a life of its own. But at the moment, I'm dialing back the bean wars. I'm trying to find, I'm kind of like the U.S. with Russia right now, trying to find a peaceful resolution, but having a stern hand.
Well, like in the Ukraine, something's going to be vacated very quickly if we keep eating all those beans. So
this is true. Real quickly, this is also unfortunately a sad note. Remembering Gary Lever today, because it is actually his birthday, or would have been his birthday. So. Just kind of a fond think back to Gary. We do still miss you, Gary, and obviously we know he is doing well wherever he is now. At least we assume he has not gone to a bad place. I can't imagine he would. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
But anyway, so just wanted to make that note, and thank you for bringing that to our attention, Phil. But we'll keep it upbeat. We're going to move into some story time because there's a lot to talk about this week.
Everyone here loves story time, our favorite time of the day.
Lord has suggested Heinz for the win. I would agree on the ketchup front. Let's not go to the beans. Okay. All right.
Well, actually, I do think there is the dove carrying the leaf of peace or the branch of peace. We can agree that Heinz tomato ketchup is the best.
Absolutely. That is what is in my kitchen.
There
you go. All right. Well, Phil, you have not been on in a while, so why don't we start with you? What's been going on in your neck of the woods? You turned 42. That's something.
Yeah, I did again. It was my birthday this week, so that was nice. Went out for a meal and a few drinks and. Opened some presents. Got myself a new microphone, a new on-air sign behind me that just looks like a big white light.
I've been staring at it the whole time. I can't not stare at it.
I have no idea. Yeah, I don't know what I need to do to get to calm down a bit, but it's nice and it's a nice red sign.
I've got suggestions, but
maybe I'll cover it with something. It's been a good week. It's been a very good week. Been listening to lots of podcasts about podcasting. So there are podcasts about podcasting. It's quite a genre. Sort of hints and tips. I moved the Distracted by SideQuest podcast over to a new host. So I've moved to a company called Captivate. From Podbean, and really, really enjoying the statistics, the support, the customer service has been excellent so far. And it also means that I can host as many podcasts as I want, so I don't have to have separate accounts. So I could have 20 different podcasts if I wanted to, which is nice. I don't have time to do one at the moment, but The principle is there. So
The principle is there, and there's something that excites me about possibly a new podcast site, and then the other thing is like we can barely get what we do right on a weekly basis. So moving to a new podcast host site scares the crap out of me.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it was the simplest and easiest migration I've ever come across. It was absolutely superb. So went without a hitch. All works really well. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, so been watching a few films, a few TV shows. We caught up on the latest season of The Sinner, which is the cop drama sort of serial killer murderer drama with Bill Pullman.
Okay.
That's in its 4th season now. Really good, really good. Really enjoyed the latest season of that. And last night we watched House of Gucci with Adam Driver and Lady Gaga. It was really, really good. It's like
okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
I didn't know anything about the Gucci's, to be honest.
Yeah.
Hard to believe. I mean, hard to believe when you look at what I wear.
Right?
But I knew nothing. I knew nothing about the Gucci's. It's all how you carry it off, obviously. It was really good, actually. Enjoyed it a lot. Surprised it hasn't had many Oscar nods, if at all. It's, as I say, Lady Gaga, Adam Driver, Al Pacino, Jared Leto, Jeremy Irons, fantastic cast, and it follows the true story of Maurizio Gucci and his wife Patrizia, I think it is, and how they sort of work towards what was in fact the downfall of the Gucci family, but not the brand. So very, very good. It's a bit like a real life. It feels a bit like The Godfather in parts.
I was going to say, weren't they almost kind of like mobsters in a way?
Almost.
The way they approach things, I guess.
Yeah, the way they approach things and acted, but they weren't as. It was more down to fraud and
right.
financial dealings, but really good. Really enjoy it.
All right.
So
by the way,
recommended.
speaking of Oscars,
Yes.
did you guys see the movie Dune?
Not
the
yet.
remake.
No.
Not yet.
Okay. Because I guess it has been nominated for a number of Oscars. I don't get it. I mean, I enjoyed my time with Dune.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think it was like, oh my God, this is the greatest film ever. Certainly not Oscar worthy film. So was a little surprised. I'm like, is this just come down to the fact that it was a really shit year for films?
I think
that
it was,
is it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think it was a shit year for big budget films. I mean, not necessarily a shit year for films. I think the nomination for Andrew Garfield for the movie Tick, Tick, Boom is well deserved.
Okay.
That's about the life of Jonathan Larson, who wrote the musical Rent. And it's a musical in part, but again, it's very, very good. But I think it has been a quiet year for films.
Okay.
So, it's the big, we can throw all the sound categories, we can throw all the visual effects, the soundtrack, etc., etc. So most of them are on the technical side,
right,
compared to, the actors acting side.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see. I know at least Boomer has said he's seen it, and agreed. Visually, it was an extravaganza, but as a movie per se, I didn't get really that on with it, especially because of how they ended it. And I won't spoil that for you too. Okay. Anything else, Phil? Or should we move over to Miss Woods?
Let's move over to Miss Woods because she has a lot to say.
She
Well,
does.
don't know about that,
Kim,
but-
first, can we talk about this one drink thing?
If we must, I guess.
No, I'm just kidding around. All right, Kim, what's been going on your side of the world?
Well, I actually got to watch some shit this week that, I normally, I guess, don't. I don't take the time to, I guess. As seen by my shirt, I started watching the 2nd season of The Witcher. So,
I was just gonna say, can you lift it up a little higher, please?
No. Jesus Christ, y'all.
she hasn't had her one drink yet.
True.
That'll
fair
cost me
enough.
another drink now. Damn. Oh, this is gonna haunt me for the rest of my life. Anyway, I started watching the second season of The Witcher. I'm 4 episodes in, because
Okay,
they're like
all
an
right.
hour long. So
Yeah.
at 2:00 or 1:00 I stop, watch an episode of The Witcher, and then usually by like 3 I
Yeah.
gotta do chores or whatever. So anyhow, it's going really good. I don't know what people are bitching about. It's
So yeah, well, we'll cut into what I mean. So on my list was also The Witcher season 2.
Right.
I have finished it, so I won't obviously spoil anything. But
Right.
I absolutely loved this season of The Witcher.
uh-huh.
I love that they're hour-long episodes.
Right.
Please do this more often.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's The Witcher.
Right.
Special effects were great.
Yeah.
I feel like we actually got a little bit more of a budget for special effects this go round versus the first one.
Right.
And I'm looking forward to season 3.
Right, exactly. I mean, my only complaint is what they did to Eskel, and I won't spoil it for anyone who hasn't watched it yet, because Eskel in the show compared to Eskel in the games and the books are totally two different people. And they kind of did him a little dirty, and I won't go any further in that. But other than that, I mean, it's been good. I mean, I don't know what people complain about, because they bitched about the first season that, well, it jumped around a lot. They couldn't follow it along, blah, 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 blah. Well, then the second season comes along, and they make it more linear so you can follow, and people are still complaining. So, I mean, they bitched about Ciri's eyebrows. Of all the fucking things in the world to bitch about, they bitched about her eyebrows. Honestly.
Her eyebrows.
Yeah, because they're darker this season than they were last season, and they don't know why. I know, right? Of all the things to complain about.
People have too much time on their hands.
It's just like, her eyebrows are too fucking dark, and I'm like, okay, you need a hobby or something if you're gonna bitch about somebody's eyebrows like that. I mean,
if I'm gonna complain about anything, it is the lack of nudity in this season compared to the first
right.
one. I'm just saying.
Right. And what the hell did they do? Yaskier last season he was like a big, like, dorky looking feller, and this season they've kind of, like, I don't know, made him a little hot. I don't know what the hell. So
Kim's
anyway,
written in to complain.
right. Two good looking guys on one screen. That's terrible. We must fix it. So anyway, Witcher.
Hang on, let me just turn my camera off then.
Thank you, Phil. I appreciate it. I'm being so distracted right now. Just can't help myself. Anyway, God, you guys. Anyway, so Witcher. It's been, like I said, 4 episodes in, and I've been pretty tickled with it. So if you haven't watched season 2 yet, go for it. Which is, it's funny because apparently Anthony, my nephew, who is 8, soon to be 9, is actually watching The Witcher. And I kind of did a double take because I'm like, wait, what? He's like, oh yeah, we watched The Witcher. Okay.
I mean, are his parents with him when he
yes,
watches The
apparently.
Witcher?
I mean, I guess I can't say anything because he sat next to me while I played the video game and watched it. So I don't know. I guess I have no reason to judge necessarily.
Yeah, you shouldn't even be raising an eyebrow at this point.
Right.
This is the way. This is the way, Kim. You are literally the Mandalorian at this point with The Witcher. This is the way.
Right, and I'm just sitting there thinking, okay, well, okay, whatever. But he seems to like it, so I guess there's that. I'm just not real sure. A 9-year-old. It's
What 8-year-old boy wouldn't like it?
Right?
There's blood, gore, and boobs.
Boobs, right? Speaking of
Although
boobs,
maybe premature for the boobs.
Yeah. Right. Let's hope. Dear God. Anyway, moving along with boobs. Yes, it is a thing. I watched the Legend of Vox Machina on Prime. They've got 9 episodes out, and I've binge watched them twice in this week.
Ooh,
so
twice.
Yeah, that should tell you how good it is.
Wow.
So
okay.
I enjoyed it. It's really good. I don't know if anybody has watched Critical Role, the one that does the D&D. I don't know. I haven't actually watched it. I just know of them. I'll put it that way.
I've seen an episode. Yes.
Phil,
Yeah,
I should have figured. Phil.
Yeah.
I didn't listen to the first season, so the Vox Machina season. Just to say that they put out their show as a podcast every week, minimum of 3 hours. So to actually catch up, because when we first started talking about D&D, they've been going for a few years already. And I started listening to season 2, which is not the later season, they're now on season 3. It took me 6 months of listening for probably 5 to 6 hours a day to catch up.
Wow.
I then stopped with stuff that happened last year. Wasn't feeling like listening. I'm now trying to catch up again, so that I can now listen to the 3rd season, which has started. But they are insanely talented, and it's the DM is a guy called Matt Mercer, and he is ridiculously good. I mean, he is the pinnacle, the absolute pinnacle of storytelling and being a dungeon master. It's something that unfortunately has a backlash in the communities, in the various D&D communities. Is the Matt Mercer effect, where people go to games, their local games or local game stores or groups and everything, and expect their DM to be as good as Matt Mercer.
Okay. That's the backlash.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, but it's brilliant. They are, they're all voice actors.
Right.
Quite a few of them are voice actors on top games, like Gears of War and The Last of Us and et cetera, et cetera. But they are superb. And they did a Kickstarter for the TV show, which originally they only wanted to make a 15-minute short animated piece. It's the fastest Kickstarter and biggest Kickstarter ever. So they started off trying to make $75,000. They ended up, I think, with $14 million, which has gone on to, number one, be able to fund the full season. I think also fund the 2nd season, and it's now getting rave reviews. So all power to them. I think they're superb.
Right.
I can't wait to see it. Actually, I haven't sat down to watch it yet.
Well, like I said, it's really good.
Yeah, it wasn't on my watch list, but it is now.
Yeah.
Knowing what it is, I absolutely will give it a watch.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and they release. I think they release episodes every Friday, and they release 3 episodes at a time, which is nice. Because I sat down Friday and watched all 3 episodes, and then I turned around and watched them all again because it's just great. I mean, we play D&D, of course, so that's also part of the reason I love it. I used to watch the Dungeons and Dragons cartoons as a kid, so that was great. And this is more adult, so I wouldn't let Tony.
Which is great because those cartoons do not hold up. Oh dear God!
I know, right? Oh yeah. Which is why when I transitioned, I said boobs, because of course the first thing when I flipped on the first episode, the first thing they saw was one of them fucking another chick, and of course here's cartoon boobs. So when I was telling you all about it, I'm like, hey, there's cartoon tits. So anyway.
All right.
But anyway, yes, I highly recommend it. Like I said, I've already watched it twice, and I'll probably do it again next week because it's funny, it's hilarious. I mean, it's D&D, which is nice. They make us look like rank amateurs, but I'm okay with that. So,
Hey, we have fun.
We do. We have loads of fun.
We do have fun. That's all that really matters.
Exactly.
And other people have fun listening to us.
Hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
And so here's the question for the two of you.
Okay.
Is it Vox Machina or Vox Machina?
They say Machina.
I think it's they say Machina.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or is it Vox Machina?
Wow.
All right.
Isn't that something that Kim says after?
No, it isn't. God. All right. Anyway, carry on to more big news from this week. We finally have a release date for The Wolf Among Us 2. This also made me do a little happy dance at the house. It'll be out next year, 2023. So I don't know specific month or anything like that, but I do know it'll be out next year. And it sounds like they're going to release one episode one week, and then I think release another episode the next week. Kind of the way it sounded. They're not doesn't sound like they're gonna string them along, too far out. So.
Well, they're sticking to that episodic format,
yes.
which kind of, I'm not gonna lie, disappoints me.
I know, but it's, there's 5 episodes.
For video games.
Mm-hmm. I know. I was kind of the same way, but I do like the idea that they're not going to string them out and make us wait 2 or 3 months for the next episode. Yeah. So at least that's what they're saying now, of course, because it's not out. They may change it before it gets here. But anyway, out next year. They've got a trailer out. I'm excited. I've spammed it everywhere. If you haven't seen it by now, I don't know what's wrong with you. I like Bigby. I can't help it. It's a great game, and I'm glad there's going to be another season. So, which seems weird to say game and season in the same sentence, but that's the way they're working it now. So there you go. In other news, Samsung has finally released their next new phone, the S22, and of course there's the Ultra, there's the Plus, and then there's the base 22, and I've already had the Ultra pre-ordered. So
Nice.
yeah. Well,
So and it's not just an S22, it's an SS22, which is
apparently
like the Stormtrooper version.
That's right. I don't know. Yeah, I got excited about it and added another S in there somewhere. You know, is that one
Fair enough.
minimum thing? I don't know. Anyway, so I've got it coming the 20. I think they're at the 25th, so I should have it the 25th.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Of this month.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So hopefully it doesn't suck, because normally I wait a while and wait for reviews and stuff. But I've had my phone for a while now because it's a 20. So
Yep.
and I was all excited. So anyway, I pre-ordered it, so we'll see how it goes. And last but not least, I'm going to put this out to you guys because I know there's some fellow nerds out there and techie people that can help me with this, that maybe I've overlooked something. I need something that will extend my Wi-Fi outside because I have a security camera. Shut up. Don't even say it. Come on now. Don't even go there. I have a security camera that needs Wi-Fi, and I've tried the regular plug-in extenders, and of course they don't work. So I had a CPE, don't ask me what that stands for, that worked for a while, but then I took it down and I dropped it, and now it doesn't work. So maybe there's another option, or I'll just have to buy another CPE and set that.
Well, that was going to be my first suggestion, was if you had something that worked, why not just get that again?
Yeah, well, I could, but I thought maybe I'd check
Which
see if there
brand?
was something else. So
Which brand
Yeah.
is the security camera?
it's a Ring.
Okay, so
Ring camera.
the Ring Chime Pro,
Hmm.
which is about $50, I think works as an extender.
It does, but I don't think it reaches out that far because I have one of those for my
How far
doorbell.
does it have to go?
Oh God! Now you're getting math into it.
2.5 miles.
Right. Not quite.
Yeah, you need a new internet connection.
Yeah.
Cam.
Probably. I don't know. It's probably, like I said, I'd have to walk it off and see for sure, but probably 50 feet.
Okay. Now, I guess the follow-up question is, where are you placing the extender? And that's a loaded question, I know.
I know.
But where is it?
It'd probably be in here in the hermit cave because the security camera is actually not far from my hermit cave. Either that or there's a downspout for the gutter. I could even put it out there. So.
Is there a covered area by the security camera?
Yes, there is.
So what you could do is you could either put an extender or a couple of extenders, one in the house, in the cave, and one by the camera. Or you could look at something like mesh, which is slightly more expensive, but set up a mesh, which is basically an extending unit.
Right.
And that does work.
The only issue I guess I should throw in is my house is covered in metal. It has a metal roof, metal sides, and all that.
That was actually what I was just going to get at, was the.
So that could
biggest
also be a
problem you
problem.
probably have.
So it sounds like maybe I might have
it
to
will
just
be.
go back to Amazon and get another CPE while they're cheap.
Yeah.
And hook that back up again.
Yeah.
Even though that's
Do
a
that.
giant pain in the butt trying to get all that. But I've done it before. I can do it again. So.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all for me. I've talked about boobs and Witcher and wolves and outdoor Wi-Fi. So there you go.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on Tech Talk this week.
What about you, Greggles? What's been going on with you?
Well, we'll get back into some boob talk. There was some side boob in the Wheel of Time. Actually, I finished watching the Wheel of Time. I ended up pretty much enjoying the entire series. Still a bit of a mystery, the overall story. I started to kind of get into it, paying more attention to it. And from what I can tell, though, it is a limited series, so they're not going to actually have any additional seasons to this. Even though they kind of leave it to where you could see it happening, they wrap the story up.
No, they're filming season 2 is being shown.
Okay.
It's been shown after Lord of the Rings. So when the Lord of the Rings show is finished, season 2 will be on, and they've already confirmed season 3.
Gotcha.
Well, okay then. Then they've got plenty more to tell.
Isn't it like 2,000 books in the series or something? So.
Yeah. they wrap up the story of the season, so that it doesn't really end on a cliffhanger per se, other than characters kind of, they show them having, wandering off, so to speak. Again, don't want to spoil anything.
Gotcha.
But I enjoyed it. And so I'm looking forward to the next season now, obviously. And I'll probably do a little bit better job of paying attention to that. I finished watching Star Wars Boba Fett, the season finale. Some really good and some really bad to that whole Boba Fett series, in my opinion. And I won't talk any spoilers because I know this is still fresh out there. But here's my thing. I think Boba Fett as a series made no sense. I think this was just The Mandalorian, like 1.5. And they had a couple chapters of Boba Fett. They within the season, they actually focus on the Mandalorian character quite a bit within it. So I just was a little mystified. And for me, what I wanted from Boba Fett was to actually learn his backstory. There's a rich history of Boba Fett being a badass bounty hunter and how he got to be the big notorious bounty hunter that he was. And if we kind of think about the arc of Boba Fett, we see him come into the Star Wars universe, and he is kind of this noted, notorious bounty hunter, Boba Fett. He's dangerous to Han Solo. He captures Han Solo. And then the very first time we see him in any kind of action sequence, he looks basically like he's part of the Three Stooges, and he goes flying into the Sarlacc pit, and we never see him again. That was pretty much the life of Boba Fett within Star Wars until they bring him out of the Sarlacc pit in the Mandalorian-esque season, and they don't explain any of his backstory.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't learn anything about Boba Fett. We just learn about kind of him after the Sarlacc pit. And, he has this new moralistic view on the world, apparently. Because, again, we go from Boba Fett, notorious bounty hunter that worked with the Empire, to now Boba Fett with a conscience. I won't say anything more than that, but to me, that was the ultimate disappointment of Boba Fett. There's missing pieces within this story.
Mm-hmm.
But the season finale is pretty good from a Star Wars perspective. Lots of action, exciting, and so I think that delivered for a lot of what Star Wars fans wanted to see. There is a series out on Netflix called Oat Studios. And it's a weird name because it threw me off. I'm all, Oat Studios. Well, what is this? But Oat Studios is a studio made and backed by Neil Blomkamp. And it is a series of like short live action sci-fi movies.
Mm-hmm.
Some are a bit disturbing. Some are kind of funny. It reminds me a lot in a way of Love and Robots, except for it's not all animated. It's more live action. Some are, like I said, some are really good. And some you're kind of like, okay. I don't know that I really wanted to see that. But it's worth checking out. I will just say that. Give it a watch. Oat Studios, there's a number of, I still haven't seen it. I think I've gone through probably like 6 or 7 little, snippet episodes already. So, oh God, Corazon, I saw that. Yeah, okay. So, let's see. The big story, the barber.
Oh,
so, I teased this in our chat. So I recently went to a barber. This is a guy that actually works with my wife in the salon that she works out of. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to be nice to my wife. She usually cuts my hair. I was like, I'm going to give her a break. I'll go get my hair cut by somebody else. Because when you do something for a living or you work, in that environment, the last thing you want to do is come home and have to do it again.
Right.
So I go, nice kid. His name's Alex. Did a fine job with my haircut. And in the course of us having a conversation, he's asking, like what I like to do. And he was just having that kind of chit chat conversation you have. Right. And I ask him what his, what are his hobbies? And then he says, well, during COVID, I really took a liking to chess.
Oh God.
And I just was like, are you fucking kidding me? Because then he says, I spent a lot of time on chess.com, and I just started cracking up. Because, I mean, this is Pete's best friend, and he doesn't even know it.
Right.
So I just had to put that out there. Pete, you have another chess buddy. I can hook you up. He can even cut your hair if you want. Might be costly with the trip, but, you know. And then I've been watching, the Olympics going on, but I was like all in on Olympic curling yesterday. I watched a number of matches. I watched the Canadian match, and then I watched the U.S. match. And I would love to play curling. Curling to me would be a blast. I hate to say that because I used to make fun of Fraser for liking curling, but I totally get it. I would be all over curling if we had a place around here that did it. The closest thing I can get to is shuffleboard. So there. I have continued rebuilding my modeling setup. So I've begun to create some diorama stuff. So modeling.
Oh, thank God. I thought you were actually like modeling
Yes.
things.
So no, this is one of the destroyed buildings I'm going to be using in a little diorama for King Kong versus Godzilla.
Oh.
Even though we all know how that turned out,
Right.
Godzilla wins. Just saying. But yeah, so I've been buying a shitload of paint because I buy a set of little paints and then I'm like, oh no, I need more. It's a rabbit hole.
Greg, I'm just looking at a wall here to my right, and I have possibly 200 paints.
Don't say that.
If you need any tips about paints or dioramas, weathering, flock. If you need,
we'll be talking. We'll be talking, Phil.
We'll be flocking. So if you need any advice, then just let me know.
But yeah, so I wanted to start off with the buildings as kind of a baby step, because the next thing I'll be doing is building out an AT-AT walker. And so I wanted to do something that I figured would be a little easier in scale and kind of testing on. And so buildings were easy. I wanted to do a diorama for Godzilla and King Kong. So there we are. And then the last thing I wanted to share, last night I tested out this contraption from Cuisinart. It's a burger press.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
And what's cool is it has this little, as I start throwing it around, there's this little inset piece. I don't know if you'll be able to see it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can
Make stuffed burgers?
Exactly, make stuffed burgers.
Oh.
Holy crap, this is the greatest thing ever. And obviously you can do it with all different types of meat, but I mean, I did, so I caramelized up some onions, some little bacon bits, and then a little, it was a Dutch cheddar, and I put that in there, pressed it down. Oh my God. So yeah, that's possibly my new thing.
Excellent.
Burger press.
I have to look for one of those. Thank you for listening to Cooking Time.
Cooking Time, yes.
With the Overseas Connection.
And that is it for me. Outside of the Super Bowl, it is happening today.
Yeah.
It starts in just about hour, 15 minutes or so from now. I'm kind of getting excited for the Super Bowl. I have had zero excitement all the way through this past week.
Right.
But we're here. And I'm excited for the commercials. I'm not going to lie. I really don't care about the game. The game to me is throwaway because I don't have a stake in either team.
Right.
But I've seen hints at possible good commercials. I think there was a Toyota Camry commercial, or Toyota, maybe it was Nissan. But Eugene Levy was in it. They released the commercial early, which kind of pissed me off because it's like, okay, well, the whole thing about the Super Bowl is you have these great commercials. You have to watch the commercials. So, but it was pretty funny. So I'm encouraged because last year's Super Bowl sucked. The commercials were bad. And obviously COVID impacted a lot of that. But I'm hoping they figured out a way to actually make good commercials again. And so crossing my fingers, that'll be the highlight. I also don't care about the halftime show.
Mm-mm.
If it's good, it surprises me. I'll just say that. Okay. we are officially done with that. Let's talk about some. Actually, before we get on to the video games, Kim, real fast, give a shout out to the chat. We've got a few different people in there.
Here.
Want to give them some love.
Alrighty. Boomer's in there. Corzon is in there. Lord has been in there. John Mouse has been in there as well. So we've had quite a few in here, and they're quite. Oh, and Boomer wants to go curling with you someday. So there's that. So thanks for being in the chat.
Let's do it. Yeah, curling. It's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Let's play some video games.
Let's do it.
Today I feel like playing computer games. Today I feel like playing computer games.
All right, so we are about halfway through the month. Kim, real fast, let's talk about everything we're going to be getting because we paid for it.
Alrighty then. We have Broken Sword 5, The Serpent's Curse, which is still out down till the end of the month. Aerial Knights, Never Yield, which will be available on the 16th through March 15th. Hydrophobia, you have 2 more days to grab that. And after that, Band of Bugs, which will be out the 16th through the end of the month. PlayStation Plus, we still have Planet Coaster for the PS5, EA Sports UFC 4 for the PS4, and Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep, also on the PS4 as well. Amazon Prime games, we have Stellaris, Ashwalkers, As Far as the Eye of the Hole. I still probably should fix that. I don't know if that's a Robinism or not, but I didn't check it, so who knows. I know the next one is, because I know what that one is. Double Click Heroes, and...
That was a dick move.
I know, right? And Golazo Soccer League. Stadia Pro, which apparently is still a thing as of right now. Life is Strange Remastered Collection, Cosmic Star Heroine, Nano Tail Typing Chronicles, Merrick Market, One Hand Clapping. I think we all know what that sounds like. Anyway, and Fogs. And for your Epic Game Store, we have Windbound until the 17th. And then after that, we have Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, which will be available the 17th through the 24th. And there you have it.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the record, one-handed clapping. So part of me is like, okay, is this one-handed clapping? And then I'm like, oh, maybe it's a hipster thing.
Then that's snapping?
Yeah. Right. See, exactly. It's snapping, but maybe it's I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, okay. Games. Let's talk about it. What have we been playing? Phil, you have quite the list, so why don't we just start with you?
Okay. So I've got a list. So, as you know, I'm trying to get the points for Game Pass Ultimate. So I tried lots of different things. And the first of those was Lumines Remastered. And this is a little, it's almost like Tetris, but on speed to, I don't know what sort of music you call it. Well, I don't know what the youngsters call it these days, but very fast music. It's
like a techno kind of techno.
Yeah,
beats.
techno beats. It's very, very addictive and very frustrating as well. So basically, you have a cube with 4 colors in, and like Tetris, you decide what angle you're going to drop them in and where you're going to drop them. And when you have 4 more of a color, that color disappears, and you can add up and add as those disappear. It takes a couple of seconds and disappear. You can build bonuses up. It's quite a wide play area to play on, and like Tetris, once you get to the top, you're out. It's very good. It's a little game. You could see it being a mobile game, and it probably is a mobile game of some sort. You probably see it on the Switch or something like that. But yeah, very nice. Lots of challenges. It changes color as you go through different levels, and yeah, really enjoying that one.
Okay,
nice little surprise.
I mean, it looks interesting, and it's Tetris. At the end of the day, it's Tetris. So
yeah, and it's almost like it's Switch, Nintendo's Switch, or even oh, mine's going blank tonight. The Nintendo before the Switch.
Like the Wii U?
Yes. or the Wii.
Okay.
The graphics are almost
the
Wii
Wii,
quality, so maybe it was on the Wii. But yeah, look, very good on Game Pass as always. Looks good. The next little game I jumped into now back in, I think last year, it may have been at E3. They showed the Pedestrian, and we all said at the time, "Oh, this looks interesting," and it appeared on Game Pass quite without any fanfare or anything. And this basically is a little stick man that you have to move from sign to sign on a building site, on a construction site, and through a warehouse by linking metal boards that have ladders or steps or things for them to jump on. I'm not describing it very well, but it's quite a puzzle between the two. You have to make doors link in the right direction. There's switches, there's pressure points, there's lasers that you have to walk through. But the whole area, as you go from board to board, it takes you to a different area of the warehouse or the building site. So it moves with it.
Yeah, I have it up on screen right now for those watching, and we're in that part where it's showing how you kind of it'll have like 3 different, like I'll call them tablets that are like play areas that you have to link together in a way to make it through that section of the puzzle. It looks really cool.
And it is quite complicated as well. So the further you get, the more of those plates, more of those tablets appear. So at the moment, I'm working probably with about 7 of various different puzzles and things, and linking those together is quite complexing, or quite complex and perplexing.
Is there any kind of time element to it, or can you take as long as you need to? Okay.
You can take as long as you need to. There is no story. It's just moving this stick man from one area to wherever he's going to.
Okay. All right.
It's a nice little game.
Yeah, I'm going to give this a go for sure. The one thing that gave me pause, I was like, well, maybe there's like some time element to it, like, a race to put them all together in a certain amount of time, otherwise you fail. But as long as that's not present, I can see this being a very chill game where you just are kind of figuring it out. And
there are time elements to certain pieces of the game. So a laser will when you switch a laser on, for example, sometimes it'll only last a certain time. A platform will rise and then drop after a couple of seconds, so you have to make sure you're timing things correctly. But in the whole, it is a very chill game.
Right. Okay. But it's not like you have to put this puzzle all together within a minute, otherwise you fail type thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So really good. And before we go on to the one game that we've both been playing, I'll just pick up on Psychonauts 2. So this has been out for a while now, obviously on Game Pass again. And I played it a little bit when it came out. I thought, I'll give it another go, because it's won a lot of awards recently for best game, and it's won a lot of awards for mental health, from mental health charities as well. So started this up, and I haven't stopped playing it. It's brilliant. It's absolutely superb. Not just I'm actually sitting through the cutscenes because I'm enjoying the cutscenes. You're basically a part of almost like a psychiatric group of characters who are working their way through bad guys and good guys' brains and psyche, making them think positive thoughts sometimes, or linking thoughts together that will move the story along. This design, the platform design, is absolutely amazing. It really is stunning, and just on my Xbox One X, God knows what it looks like on the Series S and X, but absolutely superb. Really, really funny. Some really ingenious gameplay as well.
The
highly
writing in this
recommended.
game, I was going to say the writing in this game is fantastic.
Yeah.
Like the dialogue sequences and stuff are just all really, really top notch. And as you mentioned, the game mechanics they are not overly simplistic. There's some depth to it. Yeah, it's a game. I will say for me, I've come back to it a couple times now. I still want to come back to it. I do struggle a little bit at first when I first come back into it because there is that depth of play and understanding the different mechanics. To be good in those platforming elements, you really need to have a pretty good understanding of what you're doing.
Yes.
And taking a break sometimes hurts that. But yeah.
Yeah, and I had that when I started playing it again. It was trying to remember what the hell I was supposed to be doing, and especially as very quickly it gives you new mechanics to try and new skills to try. I'm not sure how far through it I am at the moment, but I'm going to carry on and complete it now for definite.
Awesome. Okay.
And
Kim, did you ever play Psychonauts 2? Real quickly?
No, I haven't. There's, pile of shame and all
is
that.
It because is it not a game that you think you would like, or I'm just curious as to why you haven't
Probably.
tried it?
I mean, I didn't play the first one, so I have no frame of reference for sure of what it's like. And I don't know. So far, it's not something that's jumped out at me. But then, I haven't really had a lot of time to play a lot of things. So
okay. I came to this fresh as well, so I haven't played the first one. I've no idea what the first one was like, but I think definitely give it a go.
Okay. It's on Game Pass, so I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, as Corzon has alluded to, so many games.
Right.
and yeah, finally, Halo Infinite, the campaign, I completed that. Absolutely loved
you
it.
Completed it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So not as challenging as I thought it would be. I mean, I didn't play on Legendary. I played on, I think, Hard, I think.
Okay.
And it wasn't as challenging as I thought it was going to be. A bit frustrating at times, but love the open world side of it. It does, and I think that's probably one of the downsides of open world games is when you do all the side quests, you're leveling up quite quickly compared to the natural flow of the story. So I was going around to get all the collectibles, to get all the different weapons, beating the various different targeted enemies, building up the XP and upgrading my kit. So when I actually came to some of the bosses, I was overpowered. And I think that can be a downside of open world games, as we've seen with so many others.
Yeah, I would agree. That is definitely a challenge when it comes to this kind of campaign, because you certainly can do that. You can, kind of min-max, and you're just, doing all the side bits to get yourself boosted up. But I also kind of liked that.
I do. I'm not going to lie.
It's awesome to go in and just feel badass.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's Master Chief at the end of the day. He's supposed to be badass.
Yeah.
Right.
And, I'm of an age now where I don't want every boss fight to be impossible.
Right.
Yes,
It's no fun.
none of them were easy. But I didn't want, if a game is too difficult, I get frustrated and, I don't play it again.
Right.
This, I think, had the balance right. The story's great. Getting right back in the story with, whatever happened to Katana in Halo 5.
Right.
And the new characters are superb as well. And it does leave it open to further stories, which is great.
I'll be curious. I do hope maybe because obviously the plan for this game is it's going to be a games as service game, right? It's going to be a bit Sea of Thieves like, in that it's something that they can add to.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Well, at least on the multiplayer side for sure, but on the single player side, it seems like they could do that as well. Like, this is something they could easily incorporate in some DLC. Even if it's an entirely new area, I think there's ways in which they could do it. And I love the Banished as a opponent, because they feel just a little bit more ruthless than the Covenant did. And I will also say, just on the difficulty ramp, one of the things I discovered that I loved to do in this game is I will go and get not the it's not the Warthog. What's the troop carrier one? It's the Razorback, I think it's called.
Oh yeah, the faster electric, almost electric
but
car.
You can, well, so no, it's the transport one. Basically, it's like a Warthog, but it's just a transport. So you can fit basically, I think 5 to 6 UNSC troops into that. And you just go around laying waste to everything because you just pull up and they all start shooting. And so I found this is a great way to clear out those encampments. I would just load it up with all of these troops and then I would just drive around and just pull right up with all these guys just shooting, and I didn't have to do anything.
There you go.
So yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, very very quickly, just to finish off for what I've been playing, just talking about Sea of Thieves. I hadn't played since Christmas. Jumped back into it, and they've just announced their roadmap for 2022.
Okay.
Once again, last year they had the Pirates of the Caribbean DLC. They had lots of they started seasons, which brought in new mechanics, new stories. This time they're following the same thing. They're now introducing mysteries. So story-based mysteries that need solving that will affect the rest of the world. So how the general population solve the mysteries and the decisions they make will impact the future stories leading on for the rest of the year. I think they've got planned 6 of those to 6 seasons, I think, across the year, and it just looks fantastic. So I'm back in on that. Although
that is definitely,
yeah.
You talk about games that you did not think stood a chance. Sea of Thieves, I thought, was dead on arrival when they first launched it, only because of the reception it got. Yeah. I loved the concept, but I feared for the worst. And Rare, to their credit, have stuck with it. They've built a fantastic game that they've continued to support, and I don't think that's going to stop anytime soon. On a side note, I'm kind of curious because it looks like Grounded is getting a very similar treatment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I've noticed.
Sea of Thieves has,
right?
Yeah,
and they just announced, I think Grounded has had like 10 million players that have played that game. And I was like, okay,
yeah, that's
shocking.
higher than I thought. Yeah, I mean, last year they announced 25 million people had played Sea of Thieves.
Yeah,
which is ridiculous.
Bonkers. Yeah,
and the commitment from the team, I think, is superb. I think the one area where one of the things they've announced, and it hasn't gone down too well, is there's one place, the arena, one game mechanic for basically team deathmatch. Is purely fighting against other ships. That's all it is.
Okay.
And they've decided to shut that down because only 2% of player time over the last 2 years has been spent in arena. So they they stopped developing it about a year ago, and rather than spend any more time working on it, that they're going to they shut it down and put the resources elsewhere, which, as you can imagine, hasn't gone down too well with the people who are actually playing it.
Right.
But
yeah, because the arena, I mean, it really is just a PvP kind of deathmatch, and I'm pulling up some video for it right now.
Yeah, and Sea of Thieves was also always supposed to be PvP. The fact that people come along and sink your ship for no reason whatsoever. Right. It was always, Rare always said, our original vision for this is it was going to be PvP. Over the last year, especially when they brought on A Pirate's Life, which was the Pirates of the Caribbean DLC, that brought in a lot more people who are more interested in the PvE side. And there is now a big clash between the PvP and the PvE communities.
Say that 3 times fast.
Yeah. To the point where the player versus environment communities are creating alliance servers. So whilst you can't have a private server, you can fix it so that you end up on a server with your friends who have other ships. By jumping in at a certain time, you can land on the same server. So there's Facebook groups running that just have alliance servers. So everyone joins an alliance, which means no one's fighting each other. There's only now 5 ships on a map, on a server. So all you're doing is going around doing all the player versus environment, opening the vaults and gathering treasure and things. And when you sell that, everyone in your alliance gets 50% of the value.
Okay.
And you're not having to look over your shoulder all the time.
Yeah, I hate the PvP aspect of this game because I for me just want to focus in on all of the treasure hunting and because PvE, at least I could, if I wanted to, solo and have some fun, not having to worry about somebody, a ship of 4 coming up and kicking my ass.
Yeah, I mean, today, for example, I was playing today, spent an hour and a half on some merchant missions because I wanted to increase my rank on that, and got all the right things to be handed in, started handing them in. Someone came across and a 2-player sloop. I was single on 1-player sloop, came across and killed me and repeatedly killed me. And I'm just like, but I don't have anything for you to steal.
Right.
I literally do not have anything for you to steal, but you're just griefing me. And I know it's a player versus player, original concept, but it's so frustrating. And they always say, don't get precious about your cargo because it can go at any time. But it's still the frustration of someone coming along and just for spite, just killing you when there's no benefit.
Yeah. Here's a question. Do you think so they're killing off Arena, obviously, that is PvP, but do you think you could see them maybe do an actual, like full support for PvE only?
I don't think so. I think because there's still quite a good percentage. I think what we'll probably see relatively soon, within the next couple of years, already they're doing private servers for the Twitch partners, but you don't gain renown, so they're doing it for various events. They have races or they have battles or various things. I think what we are going to see is a move away from the legacy hardware because it's really starting to slow down now. So, Xbox One X, Xbox One, they're all still running, but I think it is slowing down the rest of them for what they want to put in. So I don't think it's going to be a series, it's not going to be a Sea of Thieves 2, but I think at some point they'll start to restrict the older legacy machines.
Okay.
But I love it.
All right. Sea of Thieves. There we go. Still a thing.
There you go. That's Sea of Thieves chat for this week.
Yeah, there we go. And that's been your podcast. Kim, let's talk about what you've been playing, Kim.
Yeah, alrighty. I played more Forza Horizon 5 this week with Boomer. Played some yesterday, as a matter of fact. I found the bullet car for the barn find, so that was fun.
Okay.
It was funny. I was sitting there listening to them talking about it and how they knew it was in a movie, but of course, they couldn't tell you which movie, so that was kind of funny because I know what movie that is. So there's more of that. And what I didn't write down is because last week I got more internet speed and a different router and whatever. I tried to play Hades on my phone, and it went really well. I'm not used to the touch controls. That was a little weird because it takes up so much more of your screen and it's kind of hard to see, whatever. The only thing really that it did was it seemed like the screen refreshed a lot. But other than that, it didn't go real wonky. It didn't freeze up or anything like that. So maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll be able to game on my phone just a little more. But it's not my favorite thing. I don't know. Maybe if I switch to my tablet that's bigger, I might like that a little more than playing on the little bitty phone screen, even though my phone is technically huge.
Or your Steam Deck.
Yeah, right? Whenever that shows up.
Yeah.
Since I have...
Yeah, I was trying to find Hades phone gameplay.
Right?
Quick cursory look. There's none.
No, right.
That's actually something hard to capture.
Right. Yep. So that was interesting. So like I said, maybe my not being able to play on the streaming sort of things on my phone is over. Maybe the faster speeds help with that. But yeah, like I said, Forza Horizon 5 this week. That's been fun. I think I got Boomer talked into the Tiny Tina game that's coming out next month. So we'll see. So.
Even though I have Elden Ring coming, the Tiny Tina game, I have to admit, every time I've seen it since, and I think it's because, fondness makes the, what do they say? Absence makes the heart grow fonder. Right. I haven't played a Borderlands game in forever.
Right. Same here.
So
because I didn't get 3 because it didn't appeal to me.
Yeah.
So
that certainly helps. And then obviously the D&D part of it also.
Exactly.
There's an interesting angle there, even though it's not really D&D.
Well, no, not exactly, but it's close.
Yeah.
So, I think I gotta do it. I'm just saying.
Okay. Well, I also played some campaign. I have not finished the Halo campaign yet, so I continue to forage on for that. But been enjoying it very much like you, Phil. It's just been a great experience. But the real great experience for me has been playing our Wednesday Halo get-togethers.
I need to get on that.
We have been having just a good time, and so we've had some good turnout each and every week. So absolute blast. This past week, I think we had Martin in there. Robin showed up. I'm trying to think of. We had Luis show up, and we had some Bean War conversation, and that probably was the funniest element to this. So you have the. If you remember, within Halo, you can put a kind of a 4-letter acronym for your team name. So I changed mine to Bean, and I believe Martin also has his as Bean. Robin had put H57 in his, and then Luis came in and threw down the gauntlet with Pinto.
There you
as
go.
In pinto beans.
Yep.
So yeah, it was good stuff. But we had an absolute blast, and the funniest moment probably was we had played a really good match, and I was like, no, one more. Let's go out on a high note, and we straight up won the last match, and so that was going out on a good note. But we've been playing the Fiesta gameplay. This by hands down is my favorite mode to play.
It
just because it keeps everything so fresh. And you never feel like you are going to be locked out of potential power weapons or good weapons. But this game just continues to shine. I will say, I do hope for 343's sake that they do come out with some new maps. That is something that the multiplayer needs. It's fine for me because I don't play that often.
Right.
But I could see if I was playing this daily and in that kind of groove, that just having the limited maps that they have, I would just be like, okay, when season 2 needs to be here now.
Right.
Yeah. So hopefully that is coming soon. If nothing else, just at least 1 or 2 maps. Don't even wait for the full season. If I'm 343, I'm just going to try and bring them out as fast as I can. But yeah, it's been a blast. Really been enjoying it. And to be perfectly honest, haven't had much time to play games beyond that. So that was really the highlight to my week.
Right.
And then last night I probably could have been playing games, but I absolutely was full on just Netflix. So,
well, better than me. I fell asleep on the couch. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
In fairness to you, I almost fell asleep on the couch. My eyes did the big droop, and then I was like, "Oh fuck it, I'm going to bed."
Right. Exactly. Yep.
Anyway, so that is our week of gaming. Oh gosh. So where do we go from here? Well, I suppose we can talk about some news.
Whee!
Here is the fucking news.
All right. So on the news front, there's actually been a few different stories that kind of came about. One was Microsoft put forward a blog, and it was titled "Adapting Ahead of Regulation: A Principled Approach to App Stores." So this blog to me read like something that they published specifically to go to regulators. The people that might be monitoring what they're doing, as opposed to to the public. Even though it was published publicly, it really read more like something of, hey, if you're worried about what we're doing, this is our thinking and this is our approach to a number of different things. Right. And for the most part, most of it not related to Xbox. I mean, you could even tell by the title of the blog, it was, principled approach to app stores. I think Microsoft 100% is trying to push potentially even kind of team with Epic Game Store in this fight against Apple. And how Apple has this very closed wall garden approach to their app stores and their technology versus, Windows, which regulators forced Windows to become an open platform, back in the day. And so, anyway, within this article, there was some commentary around Activision Call of Duty, and it, I think, goes a long way in clearing up the notion of how Microsoft is going to handle the Call of Duty IP. And so this is just a snippet taken from within the blog, but it says, first, some commenters have asked whether we will continue to make popular content like Activision's Call of Duty available on competing platforms like Sony's PlayStation. The obvious concern is that Microsoft could make this title available exclusively for console, as for Xbox console, undermining the opportunities for Sony PlayStation users. To be clear, Microsoft will continue to make Call of Duty and other popular Activision titles available on PlayStation through the term of any existing agreement with Activision, and we've committed to Sony that we will also make them available on PlayStation beyond the existing agreement and into the future so that Sony fans can continue to enjoy the games they love. We are also interested in taking similar steps to support Nintendo's successful platform. We believe this the right thing for the industry, for gamers, and for our business. So I think on the surface, you hear that and you're like, okay, Call of Duty for moving forward, wherever it be, on PlayStation. Right. I still think there's a lot of wiggle room to this statement.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It reads very nice. It reads like, we intend to play nice with everything that is there now and everything that we are committed to. We're not going to take anybody's toys away from them. That's basically the way I read this. So then that begs the question of, okay, well, what if there's a new toy? And I don't think that new toy is going to those other stores or consoles without some kind of concession from those others.
Yeah.
Call of Duty Warzone, that's going to continue on PlayStation. Even the Warzone 2, I guarantee, will continue on PlayStation. But future Call of Duties, I think that's some gray area beyond, once they're done with their deals. I think that could be gray. But I also do wonder if Microsoft just slows the pace of Call of Duty down a little bit with those proper Call of Duties. So they slow it down a little bit and they start coming out with new IP. Maybe Call of Duty starts going every other year. And that new IP, again, Starfield is your example of what Microsoft likely would do with that. But yeah, so I mean, do either of you? I mean, what are your thoughts? Do you think Microsoft really locks down Call of Duty after the agreements are over, or do you think they do actually stick to kind of what this hints at, which is Call of Duty just forever will be multiplayer, kind of like Minecraft?
I kind of think that way because I mean, honestly, if you think about the amount of players that play Call of Duty, and God knows there's quite a bit every year. There's always so many people buying it, even though it's the same damn thing over and over again. And I think they would lose a lot of money if they locked it down and, kept it that way. Because, like I said, there's probably just as many or more people on PlayStation that play it just as much as they do on Xbox. So,
Oh, yeah.
I think that's a lot of money that would just disappear and poof. And I mean, considering they're spending a lot of money here lately buying these things up,
Yeah.
I think.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fair point.
Mhm.
I think certainly they're not going to do anything rash to start off with.
Really, yeah.
I think what's more likely to happen is, obviously, Call of Duty Game Pass day one. Call of Duty on PlayStation, maybe in a couple of months, not necessarily day one, $80. They could do something like with Warzone, perhaps giving away discounted or actually as part of Game Pass, giving extra content and start to bring those people who, there's a lot of people on PlayStation and on Xbox who just play Call of Duty.
Yep.
Right.
They don't play anything else. So their loyalty to the PlayStation, for example, or to Xbox can be wavered. It all comes down to where their friends are and where they can get the best experience.
Mm-hmm.
If it's multi-platform, it doesn't matter where your friends are. If you want the best experience, then, and the best freebies or the best, the first maps, so you can spend the time practicing on the maps before other people join, then that trickle will start to come across to the other areas. And I think it's a gradual thing. And I agree, Greg, that I think spreading out so it's, you're not having a new version every year. It's building up on that service. What's been shown to work now is that service delivery of games, whether it's Warzone, whether it's Sea of Thieves, Grounded, whatever, building that commitment, going almost back to the old World of Warcraft model where people are paying a subscription to keep playing it. And you keep giving them new stuff. You keep feeding them little bits. So I think, over time, and again, Activision and Blizzard aren't just the current IPs, as you say. There's a lot of experience there for new IPs and bringing in, new ideas. So I think it's a brilliant move, to be honest. Just reading that press release again, they're not committing to anything. There's a lot of holes in there.
Yeah, it definitely rang through to me that they definitely left themselves wiggle room. I know Corazon, he made a comment in the chat saying, basically too much money would be lost if they kick out Sony. And again, I don't think their intention is to kick out or take away current versions. Really what it is, it's what future versions. Right. What does that look like? And I still do think maybe they take that Minecraft approach. They do keep it on all platforms. But as you said, Phil, maybe there's some exclusivity. Even Corazon kind of hints at maybe 6-month exclusivity on campaign mode. 100% they could do that. God knows PlayStation's been doing that.
Right.
So they could turn the tables a little bit that way. I also do wonder if Microsoft might try to kind of leverage Call of Duty against Sony, because one of the things Sony does, they charge developers for cross-platform ability. No other developer does this, but Sony does charge a fee to make your game cross-platform playable. And so I do wonder if Microsoft, basically says, hey, we'll continue to put this on your platform, but that fee needs to go away. So that it'll be curious for sure. And obviously, this is going to continue to be a debate until that, everything, the dust is settled on the acquisition. And we actually get some evidence of what they're actually going to do. But it's fun to speculate. Mm-hmm. Something we don't have to speculate is Dark Souls PC servers won't come online until after Elden Ring's launch, and this is from Software. So basically, they had taken the Dark Souls servers offline for the PC version of the game because of a huge. Basically, there was a hack loop within the game that allowed a very dangerous remote code execution. And so they took the servers offline. They have a fix that they have developed that is going to make it in time for Elden Ring's release. So they don't have to worry about that game, but they will need to deploy that for the other Dark Souls games, and that won't happen until after Elden Ring. So, just kind of one of those interesting things. This is the challenges I think with PC, and not trying to call out PC gaming at all, but I mean PC gaming does have there's I think a little bit more of an open door for hacking and some nefarious stuff to happen on that side versus your closed wall gardens of console. And then finally, Phil, I'll have you talk to this one because you actually posted this story up in our chat. You found it. So Martha is Dead is a game that's coming out. It's coming out to PC, Xbox, as well as PlayStation. I'm not familiar with the game, but why don't you walk us through what's going on here?
Yeah, so this is a new narrative adventure that people have been looking forward to for quite a while. It's I believe it's horror based, and it's been in sort of production hell for the last few years. They originally announced it in 2019, and it was always supposed to be quite shocking and quite damaging, or not damaging, but needed caution when playing. So they've just announced, Wild Productions have just announced that they're having to modify the experience on the PS5 and PS4 versions, taking some of the elements out, but leaving them on PC and Xbox. And from what I understand, it's down to the age system, the the parental guidance and control on the PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 and the rules they put in place, which means that they're actually not going to include it in the PlayStation version. So that means that it won't be the full game.
Interesting.
We haven't really seen this before. It comes out in a couple of weeks, so it'll be interesting to see whether people are affected by the missing parts, or whether actually it's been so long in production that it comes out and it's a bit of a wet squib. We'll just have to wait and see. But it has caused quite a bit of uproar and fury amongst the PlayStation fans. A lot of people have been waiting a long time for this. The original trailers and the hints that they gave, it looked really good and quite gritty. To say that that's taken out of the PlayStation version has left a lot of people unhappy.
It's interesting because I am of two questions kind of pop up in my head. Which one, it's why isn't Xbox? I get PC, but why? Maybe it's not even a question, but it's a surprise that Xbox isn't actually asking this to be censored as well. But the bigger question is, what exactly is this content that they would need to cut it out of the PlayStation game? And I say that because I've seen some horrific stuff on PlayStation games. I mean, I only need to look at The Last of Us 2 in particular. Right. There's some YouTube video worthy content. I'm kidding around on that part, but there's some pretty graphic stuff. And so it's like, well, okay, is it sexual content? But even then, the PlayStation standard, there's not been much that ever has been held back. So what is this content that is so incredibly bad that they felt they had to pull it from the PlayStation game, and they're forcing them to pull it from the PlayStation game, basically?
And at last minute notice as well. Yeah. So these are unplanned changes that they announced this week for a game that's coming out on the 24th.
Rumor is, and I like I said, this is just rumor. I don't know anything concrete, but a rumor is it has something to do with a dead baby. Apparently, there's a scene with a dead baby. Anyway, this is just rumor that was flying around on Twitter because I was kind of following it along too to kind of see what the heck the deal is. Because this is not a game that's in my worldview at all. Because horror and scary.
Right.
And,
I don't have any plan on playing this game. I'll fully
not
admit
for
to
me
that.
either. But that was kind of
Although-
a rumor that somebody said it had something to do with a dead child. So.
Although I bet it gets more players now.
Oh yeah, well
Yeah,
I can imagine with all the ballyhoo, yeah.
Yep.
This is all the PR that Wired Productions or whoever is making it. This is all the PR they needed. I mean, this just blew this up like no other. So.
Okay. Well, it'll be. I mean, we'll follow back up on this one. I will definitely be curious to see or hear, maybe not even see, but hear what that content was. I don't necessarily know. I need to see it. Anyway. So that is it for the news, unless there's anything else that we, missed. It wasn't really a terribly big news week. Nope. We've had enough of those already this year. Right. So why don't we just talk real quickly, Kim? What are the new releases coming out for the following week?
I have to actually scroll down to that part.
There's a couple big ones coming.
Oh, there's a few, yeah. Which reminds me, I expect you to fill me in on how Elden Ring does, because I'm curious about it, but I'm not very Dark Souls, so I kind of want to, idea of whether I would actually like playing it or if it would piss me off and make me throw my controller. So anyway.
I'll send you a YouTube link.
Sounds good. Alrighty, your new releases for February 13th through the 19th are Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires for the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, Stadia, and PC on February 15th. Assassin's Creed, the Ezio? I never know how to pronounce that one.
Right. I like the Ezio, the Ezio collection. Yeah. One drink and done.
All right. That's enough. Switch on February 17th. Stop it. Let's see. The King of Fighters 15 for the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, PC on the 17th as well. This is one that's got me, even though I'm not much of a PC gamer, but it is Warhammer. So Total War Warhammer 3 for the PC on the 17th. And a big one, I think this is one that most people are looking forward to, and I did not realize it was coming to PlayStation 4, so that kind of gets me excited because, I still have my PlayStation 4. Horizon Forbidden West for the PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 on the 18th. And those are your new releases. So, go, have fun, play new games.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I think Total War is going to be more of a Phil game than it'll be a U game.
Probably.
Only because I'm pretty sure it's an RTS.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's part of the Total War series, but it's Warhammer Fantasy, so it's not Warhammer 40k. So
well, yeah, I know.
It's still the same chaos and everything else, but that's on Game Pass as well. Mm-hmm. So PC players, you'll be able to pick that up on Game Pass on the 17th. So I may have a quick go on that. I haven't played those.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Easy enough.
Yep.
Okay, well, we're getting down to the last little bits of the show, which is perfect because we do have a Super Bowl to watch.
You do. I don't care.
I saw the Roman numerals for the Super Bowl, and I was just like, what fucking number is that? So I'm like having to go back through. I'm like, 56 people. It's 56.
Counting on fingers and toes, and
Exactly. But we do have Halo Nights coming back this week. So 9 p.m. in the UK, 1 p.m. on the West Coast, and figure it out in between. We've been having a blast. Come join. We do an open. We open up a room, and so everybody can kind of pile in, and then we'll, if we have enough players, we'll go to big team battles. If we have smaller squads, then we'll just stick it out into something smaller. But good stuff, lots of fun. Come join. Why don't we do some shout outs? Phil, why don't you start us off?
Shout out to both of you, obviously. Been really good fun tonight, and I might just have a single drink later. See what happens.
Smart move.
Shout out to Robin as well. Robin and the family. Hope you're all doing well. Sounded from the video put up earlier. Sounds pretty rough. And shout out to all the listeners as well. We've got a fantastic community, and I'm always really, pleased and it's heartwarming when we get all the feedback from the community. A lot of shows don't have that, and we've got something special here. So yeah, all warm and cuddly.
Aww.
Kim.
All right, I'm going to shout out our shatters one more time, and that would be Corzon, Martin, Lord, Boomer, and John was in there. I think that's all of them. Let me check my list one more time, because I did write you guys down, so I don't forget anyone. Yes, that was all of you. And Lord, did I mention Lord? Lord was in there. If not, you got
Lord, you mentioned Lord.
Yeah, all right, good. And I wanna shout out my brother, even though he will never hear this. It was his birthday on Friday, and he's just that much closer to 40. So, haha, fucker, you're gonna get there before you know it.
That is sibling rivalry at its best.
Well, you know. So anyway, happy birthday, Stacy. I love you, but haha, 40, it's coming. Ah. Anyway, everybody have a good week. Don't freeze to death if you're in the central time zone like I am. It's gonna warm up. Spring is coming, hopefully. God, I hope. Anyway, it's been fun, you guys, but you know that. It always is. I say it every show. So over to you, Gregles.
Well, thank you to the both of you for making the show. Very much appreciated. As Phil mentioned, yes, Robin, do get better.
Indeed.
Feel better. Mark, pick up your phone, you rat bastard. Pete, hope you enjoyed your... I think he went off to... I'm trying to remember now what he went to. He went to
Snooker.
watch some kind of... Yeah.
Oh.
Snooker.
Yeah.
Snooker. Yeah, so he went off with his brother Mike to watch a championship game, I believe, in person. So enjoy that. And disregard everything I said about chess. It never happened, Pete. It was all in your imagination. A shout out to my cousins, Roger and Mark. Apparently they're gamers. I didn't even know.
Wow.
So my dad is now intent on getting them to listen to our podcast. So if you happen to listen to this, I'm sorry my dad pestered you. But welcome to the show.
Yeah. Apologize now.
Yep. Yep. Apologize. Yep. Absolutely. And in the meantime, come back next week, everybody. We will be back on Sundays, 1 p.m. on the West Coast, 4 p.m. on the East Coast, 3 p.m. in the freezer, and 9 p.m. over in the UK. And until then, thanks and have a great week.
Thank you for listening to the Overseas Connection podcast. See you same time next week.